In East Hampton, style is currency. But this weekend, the prize of admission is pure, polished play. Between the surf and the soirees, elegance finds its edge as Texas Fire meets New York grit and coastal clashes that will be anything but polite. Forget quiet luxury. The loudest thing in the Hamptons today, the sound of supremacy. The beach is officially open. Welcome to the AVP League. The AVP League from East Hampton is raw competition, cloaked in coastal elegance from EHP Resort and Marina. The second day as matches continue on with a little bit of a weather change-up. Wind conditions coming in and swirling on our court as Austin gets set for Brooklyn. Two undefeateds going head-to-head right in the middle of the season. As we take a look to the standings for the AVP League Cup. This is comprised of 16 total matches throughout the season from the men's and women's seasons combined. LA at the top at 4-0, Palm Beach at 6-2. Brooklyn, they will only have one more weekend to get after it. They have a chance to pick up one more win here with a women's matchup. Can they move to 7-5? Hi everyone, Cameron Irwin alongside the two-time Olympian Kevin Barnett. And we have two undefeateds now going head-to-head. Somebody is walking away with a loss. With all things being equal, who's taking this one?
I have Brooklyn taking this one, even in the wind, Cameron, as we get our looks here in the booth. Yeah, I have Brooklyn if everything is the same from yesterday. Now, what about the key matchups? Well, everyone's going to say serving. That's boring and obvious. Fine. Here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at Taryn Cloth, now Taryn Brasher, up at the net against Denneberg and Donlin. They have been really offensive punch throughout the entire season. Can Taryn slow him down? Taryn made some big moves yesterday and was successful. Do they win? The Austin Aces, that matchup with defense at the net.
Taryn Brasher, one of the best blockers in the world. You get a chance to see the 6'4" phenom as we look to the overview of the season, an 8-week regular season. Everyone vying for the AVP League Cup. That's, of course, your best team record with your men's and women's combined after those 8 weeks. Who knows what week that will be crowned? You're going to want to stick with us through those 8 weeks. And then the championship, that's going to be in Chicago. Just the top 6 from each gender making it to that single elimination tournament. So much to look for in 2025. Why not have more than one championship? As you look now to the Austin Aces, the Olympians, Kristen Nuss and Taryn Brasher, they had a tough one yesterday, Kevin. What are you looking in terms of factors and matchups for the Austin Aces?
Yeah, besides the blocking, it's the efficiency of Kristen Nuss, which is just absolutely lethal. Look at that, 545. And what maximizes that is the number of digs she makes. She's giving herself all kinds of opportunities, converting more than half of them, even when you subtract out the errors. Ridiculous. She is deadly behind Brasher. So whatever Brasher doesn't get with an actual stuff, it's being channeled. That's half the job as a blocker. Without
a doubt, Kristen Nuss, Taryn Brasher training out of Louisiana. They've made the trip up to the Hamptons. They've had a great time here enjoying some of the views from Montauk. A couple walks on the beach as they got set for this matchup, but it was a 2-1 victory. They dropped their very first set in league play in 2025. They now are 3-0, but it was a tough one yesterday. What can they improve upon from yesterday to today?
Oh, I think they can just continue to serve the ball in. That would be good. They said yesterday at the end of the match, hey, we need to put the ball in. That's critical. We're going to have to serve inside the square or inside the rectangle, however you want to look at it, and put it in play. They had a whole bunch of service errors, so I would look for them just to be cautious to start and work their way into rallies. When you can channel balls and dig and have the offensive efficiency you mentioned earlier, put the ball in. Just put the ball in. It's simple stuff. Underhand bump like your Aunt Mary, all right? Aunt Mary had the right idea.
Work back to your 12s, right? Kristen Nuss, she says, it says 5'8", but she's actually dropped 2 back. She's 5'6", but an absolute storm as a defender turned offense. On the other side of the net, maybe one of the more surprising teams. They're 5-0, one of which is a rookie. Are you surprised, though?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I didn't think they'd be at this point. I don't know that they thought they'd be at this point at 5-0, but they've been big in the big moments. John Wooden, be at your best when your best is required. That has been Denneberg and Donlin throughout. So how much of that do you want to give to the UCLA star, Lexi Denneberg? She was paying attention to Coach Wooden when she was there, the legacy, the ghost, the inhabitant there in Westwood. Yeah, this team has been fantastic in those deuce sets. They have played 13 total sets. 7 of those have been deuce, and they've won 6 of them.
I mean, you want to talk about having a clutch gene. Julia Donlin has just that. She's even spoke about it out of Mooresville, North Carolina. She has said, I'm better with my back against the wall, little adversity and a chip on her shoulder. And I can tell you, these two, just from being on site this morning, are locked in and ready to go. There is a definite edge to this.
Here's the challenge for them. All right, they won yesterday in deuce fashion in the first, 15-12 in the second against New York, but they allowed their opponents to hit 450. They're going to have to slow down Austin today.
That's a problem. Let's check in with Lexi Denneberg about her opponents.
Our strategy is always focusing on our side of the court. Aggressive serving. We're a physical and aggressive team, so I think we played our strength in that. This is jumpy sand, so jump high, swing high. Yeah, Kristen's really fast, so not wanting to shoot very high over the block, I think, is important because she runs down a ton of balls.
I love the focus on your side. I'm an 80-20, maybe 85-15 guy, where I want my preparation for a match to be 85% me. My partner, my side, my team. I think we control the things we can control. We're going to come out on top.
One of the things you can't control today, the windy conditions, as Donlin just hammers the overpass. And that is all team physical.
This is what makes them so much fun to watch. Just a crazy rip, followed by a straight down kill on the overpass. Remind me of Brouwer and Musen on the Netherlands side. Olympians themselves, just the willingness to take a cut. I love it.
Donlin has been a force to be reckoned with as she misses that serve, however, but the service line has been a point of emphasis for this Brooklyn Blaze team. Different contact point here for Taryn Brasher out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. She runs up to the net. That is easily picked up. Kristen Nuss with a spinning set her direction. Can she? Both are there from the Blaze. Big opportunity, stolen by the wind.
This is an early indicator of what we're going to see. A couple of teams with no give up in any play and a variety of shots and options, right? Anybody can go on 2 here. Anybody could go all the way to 3. And the scramble plays, Kristen Nuss, with 5'6", what makes her special is her ability to react to the ball, but then to control it. Her quality of touch is so high that extends rallies and points right there. Yeah, I agree with you, Cameron. The wind just taking it away.
Denneberg, the UCLA Bruin, she played all the way up at the #1's position since her freshman year and continues to make an impact from those rookie seasons. Let's check in now with the third member of our crew, Olympian Casey Patterson.
Yeah, as you've seen so far, we've had a couple incredible rallies, right? These teams match up well, and that was the biggest question was, hey, Brooklyn's been playing well, they're undefeated. How are they going to react to, you know, the gnarliest team on tour right now, which is in Austin? So for me, that's proof right there. They're able to scramble and transition at such a high level. So everyone look for that to be how they end up closing. If they end up winning this match, that's going to be like the change in how they're able to approach this Olympic team.
That ball kept alive twice. Wow, what a rally. Another fun one in the wind. I love that. Yeah, Cameron, we talked a lot about the physical capabilities of Brooklyn, right? The things that they can do, things that makes them fun. We're seeing that already. Their willingness to scramble and keep the ball alive. But what I really like, Casey kind of touched on it there, and we wondered what they would do coming out against Olympic quality teams right away to start this season, was how would they approach the Palm Beach Passion, these Olympic silver medalists? What would they do mentally? They came out with aggression, confidence, playing on their side of the net, the Brooklyn Blaze, and they have carried that forward. I love that about them, that they play with that confidence in their own ability.
There is unwavering belief in the Brooklyn Blaze. They feel like they're right in the right position, 5-0, and now facing off against another Olympic duo. That sent to Denneberg. Option play sent the other direction, and this is something heavily utilized by the Blaze.
And they'll put a ton of pressure on you with this. You see that the scramble play on the Brasher Nuss side has Brasher just standing up at the moment that ball's already being attacked. Blaze really taking advantage of momentum and possibilities inside of a single point.
A little bit of a quicker set and a shot straight into the wind for Brasher.
Well, the wind is brutal on that side right now. The right side of your screen for the Austin Aces. The ball is moving around so much. This is really going to test some of the arm angles of the players. Can you, even if you jump in the wrong spot, can you slice and dice with your hand contact, which is so important normally to just put English on the ball? Here, you're going to have to maybe save it because you can bend your arm, your elbow, and your wrist around it.
There's another big swing, and Nuss has to scoop down the line.
And she will come up short again. That's donuts right there. You have to pay. You owe your partner tomorrow morning because you hit the ball under the net without it touching. You have to bring donuts for the entire team. In this case, it's just the two of them.
A little look to the swirling wind. This has been the story throughout the day. About 15 to 25 mile an hour gust, and it really has a big impact on multiple skills. And starting with that very first contact.
The Aces struggling most of all so far. We've seen it move around too, right? It's picked up and it's moved. So right now, are the Aces suffering from perhaps the right side of your screen becoming the bad side, where the wind is much more effective of the offense, or is Brooklyn just outplaying them?
It's one of the beautiful elements of the game of beach volleyball. There's so many variables, and sometimes they play into certain teams' advantages and disadvantages. The wind, what's your ball control like?
Well, you want to keep that ball low. Casey said you want to keep it low. The other thing you do is put a little spin on some things. Not when you're setting, that's illegal. All right, it has to come out clean. But off your platform, if it has a little spin, it's liable to track straight. Like that, that ball will track straight.
Good chase by Donlin in this split blocking duo. Donlin on the defense to offense. She only rips.
Okay, that kind of swing is what I'm talking about. She's unafraid of even the biggest blocker in the AVP league, Taryn Brasher. She's just going to get up and challenge you to stop her.
Denneberg now at the net. Donlin will still be on the backcourt here as she misses that ball long. 7-5, and Brasher and Nuss, a long-term partnership at this point as we are in 2025, getting together back in 2020, their time at LSU. That ball served out of bounds. Their final season together went 36-0. Nuss, the all-time NCAA leader with 139 victories at the collegiate ranks. Right now, she's trying to find some more points with a 3-point deficit. AVP League is brought to you by Wilson, the official ball of the AVP. By Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Let the good times cruise. And by StubHub, the official ticketing partner of the AVP. The wind continues to gust in here at EHP Resort and Marina from East Hampton, New York. Only once before has the AVP been here in the Hamptons, back in 1987. And man, I sure would love to come back in 2026. Just an iconic venue as you look to the Brooklyn Blaze, currently on a 5-match win streak. That ties a league best from 2024 now into 25.
We're about to find out if there's a good side, bad side here, as we now have switched the Blaze over on the side where they were scoring on the Aces.
Standing down ball from Denneberg, and you always love when you can score one that way. Let's check in with Casey Patterson.
Yeah, guys, I had the chance to go listen in on both teams during that timeout or the side switch, and both of them are doing a really good job, which is what I would talk about as well, which is, hey, we're switching sides, so the bad side and the bad corner for each of the teams changes. So let's be really aware of that. Let's talk about it. So the Marina side towards the water, both players that are receiving serve on that side, look, we need to be really ready to get attacked with the serve. So let's just keep reminding ourselves. So that was a great tactic from both those teams to listen in on, and you know that they're really aware of that side switch.
Taryn Brasher doing an excellent job there, holding his platform out.
That ball finding the sand, and I'll be curious too, Casey, with just so much skill and obviously as an Olympian in your own right, we've been talking about the serve reception, we've been talking about some of the other adjustments you make in the wind, but maybe one of the more underrated is the setting skill. So Casey, when you get a chance, I'd love to know some of the nuances to setting in these windy conditions.
Yeah, you got to cut through the wind. If you're bump setting, you got to kind of roll through it low to high. You want as long as contact as possible, because then you can control where that ball goes and how it hangs in the wind better. And then with hand setting, it's the same thing. I need to have my whole body following through, setting forward to wherever I'm, like the direction, and the ball will hold that track much better than if I were just to do a quick hands flick of my set or a quick bump set. It's got to be longer and fluid in every way, and then the ball will hold much better for your partner.
That's awesome. Well, you just saw a gorgeous set from Kristen Nuss with that quick hand, a little bit of that hold right at the end, perfectly placed to her partner Brasher. Just 4 points away. We played to 15. It's a best of 3. Quick work for Nuss. Is it good? That ball is wide.
No, those big swings continue to pay off, and just not being afraid of the block. And I love that. Both of these players, what makes them so dynamic is the thing that's helping them here. They can jump, float to a ball, their arms are loaded up, and they can get on top of those balls at angles and have a lot of power in a variety of different situations. That's why the Blaze are dominating right now.
You saw the efficiencies on screen. The Blaze at 500, looking to get one more, but the dig no good. If you've been joining us here on the CW, we've been educating you on hitting efficiencies. Anything about 400 is where you want to look and say, hey, I'm feeling pretty good about myself. 500, you're starting to feel way better.
Yeah, you're doing okay at 400. I think increasingly you see somebody in the 300s, some are even in the 200s, and you wonder, hey, how are you going to win this match? You can't be that poor offensively and expect to dominate as that ball goes middle, and what a burst here for the Brooklyn Blaze.
Again, a rookie playing alongside the veteran, Julia Donlin, having played for the LA Launch in 24. Lexi Denneberg's first opportunity, and she is sure making a mark as that just drops to the sideline. One of the best teams in the world in Brasher and Nuss. Serving to the sideline, option play comes. Was there a touch? And it's out of bounds. I feel like the option has to be that much more challenging in these conditions.
It is, but what you're gonna have to do is, if you're the left side player, as Donlin is, she has to give a little more distance, right? Let that ball come to you through the wind. So you have to judge the amount of wind and how far that ball is gonna come towards you. It's actually a lot easier on that side than it is on the other side.
That one tossed well out of bounds, and Austin hadn't found any real points, aka defensive turns, just until that last ball they had. Now 14-10, it's set point for the Blaze. push to the platform of Brasher. High set. And there are a few that can find that contact point.
Yeah, Donlin needs to go and surround that ball if she can. And the task for Brasher there was, okay, I know it's tight. Let me use my height and reach a little higher here. Let's see if Donlin even had a shot. She did. She's out of position. That ball blowing across. That's where the blocker gets taken out by the wind. So they go in a spot, but the ball blows past them, and it opens up a lot of opportunity for the attacker.
Set point remains. Denenberg, so smooth as she finds the 15th, and they continue to impress. The Brooklyn Blaze just keep rolling.
I love the shot and the confident jog right off. I knew that was going to the sand. We're headed to the second set. That is a perfect example of the confidence of these two young women.
Unwavering belief from the Brooklyn Blaze. They are just one set away from a perfect, flawless 6-0. Saturday, July 12th, the AVP League heads to LA. The sand will be sizzling as the top beach volleyball players and stars bring the heat to the City of Angels. Explosive rallies, high-flying blocks, and championship-level intensity, all coming your way from the heart of LA. The AVP League from Los Angeles, Saturday, July 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on the CW. We'll have to wait to see the Brooklyn Blaze till week 8. As you look now, though, set 1, Denenberg and Donlin are demonstrative against the Austin Aces. Kevin, what are you seeing in the numbers?
I'm seeing that sometimes you run into the buzzsaw. That's what happens. For Austin, they just ran into a team that was executing perfectly on their side. Blocks, digs to transition. Denenberg has proven herself deadly this year. She's hitting .571. She has 2 digs, 1 block, and is 4 for 7. If the Blaze are going to continue to play like that, there's not a lot of hope for anybody. Now, the hope for Austin is that Nuss picks up her game, which you know she will. She has 1 kill, 2 errors on 6. That is not characteristic.
Lexi Denenberg now standing up at the net. Again, a rookie. As you look to mom and dad, Connie and Dan, and they're all the way from Merritt Island, Florida. And Connie actually a volleyball coach in her own right. She's run a club for over 30 years, Cape Coast Volleyball Club, and one in which actually Lexi played. She recalled yesterday in talking to her the moment when Lexi decided to go full-time beach. She said a lot of people were disappointed because she was quite the indoor star, the outside hitter. But Lexi said, I had to switch to full-time beach. I got tired of asking for the ball. As here's a phenomenal rally to start set 2. Big swing and error from the Brooklyn Blaze, but you gotta love that. Somebody that just wants the ball more often. Beach volleyball, she said, you're definitely gonna get that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's no quicker way to get yourself involved in every play than to switch to the beach. And mom may be hoping that Lexi gets a few less reps on the beach side. Doesn't have to get a new knee like mom got from the indoor side. And had a great conversation last night with Danny, mechanical engineer there working on rockets at Cape Canaveral. Pretty cool family doing good stuff in sports and professionally there with rockets and space.
Full recycle for the Brooklyn Blaze. Yeah, Connie herself having played both tennis and volleyball in college. She was an All-American at Carson Newman College in Tennessee. Very athletic family, if you don't say so.
Yeah, actually, her brother was drafted into the minor leagues and went to the minor leagues. It didn't work out maybe the way he'd hoped, but made some money, part of that, with the draft. And now he's going back to play college football.
As a kicker.
25-year-old freshman.
Both her brothers, Mason and Brady, playing college football this fall.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy sports fall for Danny and Connie.
Two to two here, a couple of missed serves in the early portions. Nuss, quick last 2 steps and finds the line. An interesting pull there, Denenberg.
Yeah, I think sometimes people don't know what to do with Nuss because that weird attack angle. And if she's off the net, you know she's not going to swing at it. She's going to cut it. So do you stay? Do you play with your timing? So if a team's going to shoot, you're going to stay at the net and block. What you do is you jump late. And you try and catch that shot. Versus when someone's swinging, you need to be up early as Denenberg takes a cut there.
Perfect delivery off the platform of Nuss. Big double arm lift and another easy play. Here comes Nuss. Finding the corner.
Yeah, sometimes you need to shoot, you need to listen to your partner. The call was line, line, line from Lexi Denenberg because planted in the angle was Kristen Nuss, actually off the second one. Here's where the wind actually helped. It dug it off the hand and it hung up in the wind. And right there, the call was line for the shot because the angle was covered. Nice ball control once again from Kristen Nuss. That's where she's so exceptional. As the ball's hit right at her, she'll keep it on her side and make it playable.
An absolute wizard defensively. 9 digs already. She's just 1 away from the double digits. There it is, number 10. Tight ball. And Julia Donlin, just a monster, hangs those hands.
Now, not to get technical with you, Cameron, but can you have a female wizard, or is that a sorceress?
I guess the sorceress.
Yeah, I think it's a sorceress. Either way, magical and high-powered, like a +20. You roll a D20 and add 18 to your score there if you're a Kristen Nuss.
Focus for Brasher and Nuss this season, just getting 1% better every time they step out on the court. Currently being coached by Drew Hamilton and really utilizing some different and new techniques out on the sands in Louisiana. Working with a practice player to make a big difference as well. Just all sorts of different drills coming their way.
Well, I know they were talking about their service strategy, right? This year they were trying to take more risk as that ball finds net. They were trying to work on locations and studying some other players. They took too much risk yesterday. It's possible to push something a little too far.
Casey, what you got going on?
Yeah, I just had a chance to talk to Austin in the timeout, and jokingly, hey, what's the game plan without giving me all your secrets, you know? And they're just like, we're going to serve in, and we're going to hit over the net, especially in transition. So jokingly, they know what they're not able to execute on, and they're just going out with a good, relaxed, mentality as a team, confident in each other, and just going to try to go execute with the opportunities that they do have. And so I was also sitting next to Taryn's mom, and she's just stressing out. I'm like, they're going to be fine. So, they've got the ABCs dialed in and ready to go.
That's a great call by you. We got to love the volleyball moms of the world as there's the turn for Dinnerberg. Here comes Brasher. To your point about the service pressure, 0 aces on both sides of the net. That's combined 8 total service errors. And it's been the story of the day, especially considering the wind picking up.
I think people are having trouble dialing it in. I think the guy who dealt with it best was Sean Cook. He just hit a little standing cut around the side like you would in a 4-man game and just give that thing a little bit of English, be easy with it, make sure it's in.
Giving themselves an opportunity here in the second set. Brasher and Nuss with the 4-point advantage, looking for set number 3. Friday, the lights shine bright in Atlanta as the NASCAR Xfinity Series roars into the Peach State for a high-speed showdown under the lights at Echo Park Speedway. With the playoffs closing in every lap, every move, every position matters. Expect full-throttle drama, high-speed battles, and no holds back racing from the top racers in the sport. Don't miss a second of the action. The NASCAR Xfinity Series from Atlanta, Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, only on the CW. A look to Taryn Brasher, and one might call her an Anairo critic. She actually believes that there's a lot of symbolism in the dreams that come to her, and actually it's where she found the name TKN. Of course, that is what Taryn Brasher and Kristen Nuss are known for. She keeps a journal by her bed, and she actually writes down her dreams, and lo and behold, she picked up the name that they would be called. And actually, the story continues on. It was a room that was actually shared by her teammate and former roommate, Kristen Nuss. She said they put it on some whiteboards. They were sitting across from each other on their 2 beds in one room, flipped the whiteboards, and their immediate reaction was, yeah, that sounds like a good team name.
All right, well, that's cool, and I'm glad it's worked well. But unfortunately for them, they have a little name change upcoming. Of course, Taryn Cloth is now Taryn Brasher, and engaged over the last offseason was Kristen Nuss. So what I'm looking forward to is next year when Brasher and Nuss are solving cold case files and also winning volleyball matches. That's what I'm looking forward to.
I love it. Former roommates, now they live just about 140 steps away from one another. Nuss ended up deciding, hey, I want to live in the same apartment complex. I like my friend.
CSI Volleyball.
I like it.
2026.
They also still maintain a couple date nights just for fun, even though both of them getting engaged
And I love
married.
that. You know what the rule of that is? The date night?
What?
You're not allowed to talk about volleyball.
It's a great call.
So they're connecting on a far different level than they normally have to, because this thing can become all-encompassing. You're traveling so much. You're together. You're practicing. You're trying to get better. There are all these potential rub points. It's nice to go out and spend a little time and not talk about the business.
Well, some wedding plans being made currently for Kristen Nuss as she's recently engaged to Trey Cruz as that's chopped down. And of course, the matron of honor, her partner. 10-7 here, Austin, now with a steady advantage.
Yeah, and who's really picked it up is Kristen Nuss here in the second set. She's hitting north of 600 after being blanked for a 0 in the first set.
Denenberg with the high pass, beautiful hands, maybe a little side spin on that. You're shaking your head.
Yeah, all win, because you saw little chop steps trying to get underneath the ball was Donlin, and as soon as she said it, that thing pulled off about 1.5 feet. Such a difficult construct. Same stuff we saw affecting Kristen Nuss on that side in set 1.
Again, about 15 to 25 mile-an-hour winds today. That was not the case yesterday. It's a bit of an adjustment. Nuss. Beautiful play. They just seem like they've leveled up on some of those quick touches by the net.
And they're going to some of those fast plays that they've been working on, putting a lot of pressure. That ball is deliberately scooped low, fast to the net, and you're utilizing the 6'4" height of Taryn Brasher along with her physicality. So you can put it up fast because she's tall, but you can also put it up fast because she's so quick and able to turn that body around and get on top of it, snap it for a kill.
Don't let the defense get set up. That's the hope of Brasher and Nuss right now as the timeout has been taken. And we are in the midst of our 8-week regular season. We have a handful of events still to come, including Los Angeles in due time. LA will be in the Intuit Dome for week number 5, then off to Central Park, back outdoors. And then Austin and Dallas, the great state of Texas, will close out our 7- and 8-week regular season. The Chicago Championships, just again, if you're joining us with the AVP League, 2 different championships to fight for in 2025. You have the Cup and the Championship. The Cup is the team model, and the Championship is for your pairings. A women's champion will be crowned, a men's champion will be crowned, and there will be a team champion taking the League Cup in 25.
Which is good news for both of these teams, right? Because their men's side had remained unbeaten. They met today. Now Brooklyn has one victory, but if this were the old way, you'd have a team that's performing very well, anchored to a team that is struggling.
Denenberg seeing the majority of side out, and Nuss didn't even have to move. She's just a step ahead. Tries to lay it up. Unbelievable. Brasher with a little bit of her own magic. I love that high five too. One of the nuances to their team, whoever makes the better play gets to get hit or be the one that is hitting the hand. So a little nuance to watch on those handshakes.
Like the gooseneck high five there, the gooseneck celebration.
A 4-0 run now. Make it a 5-0 run. Things going south quickly for Denenberg and Donlin.
Yeah, Donlin's been unable to dial in that on-2 opportunity. It's the second time she's gone wide right.
Set point. Aces. This time pushing more towards the middle of the court. Massive swing.
Interesting back and forth. I'm not going to see who has the momentum early in the first 5 points of the third set, because each team now has dominated one set of this matchup.
Set point remains for the Austin Aces. Can they do it here with a side out? There's the first, and a dig. Turn to a set. Brasher and Nuss pick up their game and find set 2.
And again, you get a look at the quick reactions of the 6'4" Taryn Brasher. That's what really makes her special. Her ability to take 6'4", make it powerful and athletic at the point of attack in a tiny little bit of time.
Brasher now with 13 kills in this matchup, hitting 500. She takes that to set 3. Brooklyn's in trouble. EHP Resort and Marina. The boats now mooring out in 3 Harbor Bay. A look to Julia Donlin as we get set for set number 3. She's out there warming up her serve, Kevin.
Well, and you ought to be if you have 1 ace and 9 service errors on combined for all the players. Someone's looking for an advantage in that service game, trying to manage and figure out the wind.
A look to the stats. This is probably the biggest indicator from set 1 to set 2.
Yeah, it was really efficient in the first set for Denneberg and Donlin. In the second, we saw a lot of similarities to the troubles that Austin was having. So now they have to adjust. One of the things I've thought for Brooklyn that they could change when they're in a little bit of trouble, right, as they were in that set, leave Julia Donlin at the net more. Have Lexi Denneberg play defense full-time. Don't split block. Don't have the server just play defense. Because I think Denneberg has been digging more balls. Matter of fact, I know that because of the stats. Donlin's been blocking more balls. And Denneberg is so efficient, so deadly in transition. Watch and see if they get rid of a little bit of that split blocking.
I hate to admit it, but I believe Connie Denneberg would actually potentially agree with you. She said maybe that's the best look, but they're not quite sure as this split blocking has been successful thus far, 5-0 currently on the season. In the AVP league, as there's a good look. Denneberg, pass gone awry. Let's check in now with Casey Patterson.
I had a chance to kind of listen in on Brooklyn's timeout talk, and it was great vibes, and the way that they were approaching this third set was perfect. It's kind of how they won the first set. Like, hey, we need to beat Taryn. We need to go at the block. Let's not try to chop around and let Kristen in the game. Let's attack this block, be super aggressive. We put ourselves in a great position. Perfect example right there. Just challenge Taryn high and beat athletes. So that's their mentality going into this third set.
I like that. Lexi Denneberg right there, hitting it hard and sending the ball to space, a la Dad right there.
It's a great call by you. So Brooklyn, again, continuing to look to be aggressive here. Nuss, crafty as ever.
And I love that as the default. I think if you have the capability, not every player has the arm or the jump to do that. But if you do, get after it. There's a lot of court out there. The blocker has to be in a really good spot. You have to bring it down to them in most cases if you have those physical attributes like Brooklyn does. Man, be confident about your ability to kill the ball.
Are they going to take a crack here? And that's exactly what Denneberg does.
Because even there, like the defender's there. Kristen Nuss, outstanding with touch. We talked about that. But even she can't handle it sometimes. Challenge her to dig the ball. Make her make a great play. It will happen. It's a fantastic team. They're Olympians. But make them do that.
So far, strategy working out here in set 3. Tied up 2 apiece. We play the third set to 15 points.
Well disguised. Well disguised. I like how Taryn held her hands up there for a long, long time, sliding her feet and just chipped it. That was well done technically to maintain the subterfuge here.
Hands pulled out, high set, and there's the adjustment from Brasher.
Well, here is a nice move by Brasher. She closed the antenna. She's all the way to the antenna out here. She's not leaving any room with that left hand for the ball to sneak by because that ball was outside the antenna. So she knows that you have to hit cross court, right? Denneberg had to go cross court. Had that ball been set inside, then you give your hitter better options. They can go straight or they can go to the angle.
And the stat line now updated. Just Brasher's first block of this match. Let's see if she can find her second. Instead, it's the turn and burn.
And you see how that turn and burn catches the Brooklyn Blaze out of position. Denneberg really wasn't even in a position to play anything. Watch this dig here. And the turn, there's nobody there. They're in an I formation, essentially. It's just open sand both ways. You could have chipped it line. You could go a little harder into the angle as Taryn did.
Brooklyn led the entire first set. They picked up the first set. Austin led the entire second set and picked up the second. If that theme continues, this could go to Brasher and Nuss, as they will be on the defensive mode here on side out.
Yeah, I think +1, right? +2, could be +3, but it is a pretty even start to this third set.
Quick pop, slightly out of system are the aces. Love the energy from the Blaze.
Yeah, Donlin with another nice setup. Same situation here that we saw earlier, but it's for Austin where the ball goes outside the antenna with that wind, and Taryn has to go straight ahead right at the block or try and go into the angle.
4 pros coming out of the collegiate ranks of beach volleyball. LSU, UCLA, USC all represented. The growth on the women's side of the game continues to impress. no one home, and that's exactly what you want to hear. What's going to be the difference maker here, Kevin?
Who handles the off plays, right? I think both teams execute well when everything is in rhythm. It's who's going to get those scrambles that we've seen, that quick on two to the net, or the scramble play where everyone's going over on one because of the wind.
Donlan's got to be frustrated that there's another missed serve on their side. Again, she was starting to work on that heading into set number 3. That's not something you typically see in the middle of a match. A different look on the defense from Austin.
Yeah, a little show and take, right? Slid over, and they've been camping in that angle, digging the ball, this time looking for a shot, but Brooklyn's not taking their foot off the gas. See that play right there? That worked yesterday. If you saw us yesterday, you saw Taryn take those big steps to the right, and then the shot went to the line, and right there for the pickup was Nuss. Here, just continue swing. You're trying to bait someone into a shot that's going to find your defender in an easy position. They played that game at the end of the set yesterday against Dallas, and it worked out quite well for Austin, who needed a point at that moment in the match. Good deep corner serve.
Brasher works her feet inside, and that is all because of the serve.
Yeah, and that's a strategy serve, right? That serve is not difficult in terms of pace or top spin or anything like that, but it's going to go to the corner. So you as a receiver have to back up, and not only have to back up, which is an uncomfortable way to receive, you also then have to run all the way to the net as maximum distance.
They challenge her now with a short serve instead, and she comes up with the answer. And that's what's so interesting. Service pressure comes in a multitude of ways, but if anyone knows how to fend off the service pressure, it's this duo of the Austin Aces. Look at what they've accomplished in their career. We mentioned the 36-0 back in 21, but it just continues on for these Olympians.
And I love the way that they transitioned to the professional game, right? They came onto the scene, much like Brooklyn this year in league play, just came on with confidence, played their game, had it on their side, put a lot of pressure on their opponents.
Line. Come on.
That time, guess who listened? Julia Donlan. Line was the call, and she did nice little control shot there off the knuckles. That's part of beach volleyball versus indoor. If you've watched some indoor, you can do that open hand tip. That is illegal. In a joust situation, you can go open hand, but you cannot on your own accord go open hand. You have to use the knuckles or a full shot with some smack to it.
We call it a poke in the game of beach volleyball. That's anything but. That's just an absolute rip. Donlan at the net. And Nuss again. Pure magic.
That's like a two-point play. Because you get so frustrated. You rip a ball. Julia Donlan has an open net, takes a big cut here. This is a kill against everybody else. And look, just hanging in. It went right to Nuss, who not only gets hit with it, controls it, and then controls the attack.
Just pillows on her platform.
A momentum killer.
Pure beauty from Nuss. This time the set behind. Shot down the line is good for Brasher. In rhythm are the Aces.
Yeah, they're running a little game here with the pull too, and Brooklyn did not do a good job communicating that the pull was happening.
15 digs now for Kristen Nuss. She has had 3 matches now with double-digit digs, including one that was 19. She's already up to 15 today.
Yeah, she is a sorceress. And the great thing about watching her too is it's fun. At 5'6", she moves through the sand as though it's not there. Like a Sarah Hughes, just through the sand as though she's on hardwood. And anyone who's come out and tried to play volleyball on the sand, you spend about 5 minutes and then will marvel at what these women can accomplish.
That 19 dig performance was actually just yesterday. It was the 3rd most in the women's league history. Again, starting just last season. An impressive performance thus far. You can see Avery Drost and Wyatt Harrison in the mix. The men's duo alongside the Austin Aces. Looking to score those league standings points. Again, based off your win-loss percentage, everyone trying to find the AVP League Cup here in 2025. A look to the numbers in this set. 455 for Denenberg and Donlan. And both of those as close as the scoreboard proofreads as well. Stuck on the right side of the court, and Nuss just trying to find her footing. Big moments here for Brooklyn. They need this. Wind blowing in from the water. To the middle they go. Hold on, there you go! Come on! What a shot up and over the head of Denneberg.
My favorite part of that play, besides the gooseneck high five thing that's happening there, I don't know what's going on, was the set by Nuss. Overhead, it's just laid up perfectly, giving Taryn all the options she wanted there. She located the shot, but man, she had every option because of her partner.
The Austin Aces began their journey together in the AVP in 2021. They won the very first tournament they played in back in Atlanta. They came through the qualification process, fought their way through, and picked up the title. Since then, they have remained one of the best teams in the world.
Now you notice Julia Donlin picking up sand there in her hand and letting it through like an hourglass, right? She's checking the wind there. She's looking, which direction is it coming? Is it coming at me? Is it going straight across? And she's trying to take advantage of that with her serve.
That time finds the top of the net. Pure frustration. She lets out a cry as she gets back into side out. Reset the mechanism here for Donlin. And that's the big red button. That's the reset.
Yeah, she's done a nice job putting a lot of pressure on Taryn Brasher.
Take out your frustration in that sense. Keeping this a one-point game. Good serve. Here comes Brasher, though. Making the difficult look easy.
Man, it felt like Brooklyn should have had the advantage, should have had the one-up with that style of serve there. It's just a well-executed shot. I don't know if there was some miscommunication between Denneberg and Donlin. Looked like he should have been in that angle as a defender.
Brasher and Nuss just missed out on the playoffs last season. Looks like they're changing the tide here. 13-11, trying to find their fourth victory of 2025. Strong swing, and it's perfectly measured.
One outstanding set deserves another. It was hands overhead before from Nuss. This time it's Brasher with the platform, laying that thing up there. Beautifully done by both women to set their partners.
To go 4-0 in 2025, Brasher and Nuss at match point. Good set, and it's right on the line. The block seals the win. Undefeated, Brasher and Nuss remain.
So what do we say coming in, right? It was the battle at the net between Taryn and the Blaze. That ends up being the difference for the final point. But early on, it was a whole bunch of offense from Brooklyn that was carrying the day. And then it was Austin who got to him, not only with a block like this, straight down, but the funneling, right? Everything being hit right at Kristen Nuss, and she was responding with digs and plays and transition kills. They are back to the team that we were expecting here this weekend.
Two tough three-set battles for the Austin Aces on the weekend, coming away with victories in both.
Yeah, right. I was not expecting a three-set battle against Dallas, given their record, but we do know that that team, DeBerg, does have some capability to be effective at the net. Haley Harwood can dig balls, so good on them to have pushed that to 3 here. To get a three-set match, this is exactly what I was expecting. Two top teams playing like it.
All right, let's send it down to Casey Patterson with our winners. Take it away, Casey.
I'm with Austin. I think they're looking for mom and dad right now just to celebrate. But hey, I'm most curious about our high five combos. What do those mean?
Okay, so when we do our high five, whoever holds their hand out like this, the other person, so Kristen had an awesome dig and then scored in transition. So she gets to hit the ding.
It's supposed to be like a symbol in drums when you go but-uns.
Okay.
So it's their symbol.
Like the finishing move. Yes, like that dig off the overpass and then the put away.
No, I honestly, we were talking about her pull to then dig in transition was way harder.
Gymnastics points for that.
Okay, good. I know. We got to get your rating system going on. But how does that feel, girls? You're undefeated. Season 2, we're flowing. What's it like mentally going into this second season?
Man, it is so much fun, and we are going to really cool places, and I think it's just growing more and more every single weekend, and more people are intrigued and interested in beach volleyball, which is so fun.
Speaking of locations, what do you think about this one?
This is up there for one of the best. I mean, come on, how can you not like this backdrop? And the fans, I think, are enjoying it. So hopefully more events like this will be fun.
I love it. I love it. Well, congrats, girls. Good luck the rest of the season.
And through a snafu, they picked up a stay at a beachfront house in Montauk. So it's been a good weekend for the Aces. Those pair of victories and oceanfront estate.
One way to win a weekend in the Hamptons. 2 victories and a beautiful shore break. The Austin Aces now sit at 4-0, while Denenberg and Donlin with the 5-1 record. We'll be back from East Hampton.